One thing that I really love, as I always say, right, is the opening, reaction, sensation, right? So I really hope it's no opening, right? Because again, especially if you're anime only, like in Black Clover or so on, you're like, oh, who's that guy? Who's that guy? You know, oh, there's a new bad guy. You know, So I always love it especially in shonen animes, right? You see a new opening and you're like, oh, interesting. It's got his power, and So I'm hoping again, of course, for a new opening. Definitely that they're gonna do the opening now, right? Yeah, we're gonna get the opening. Come on. Exactly. Runs to one of his trading songs. Okay. New costume for. It reminds me of opening 2, and everyone said, I was like, yeah, let's stretch. Yeah, it definitely reminds me of opening 2 so far. They're like, oh, we're gonna trade. Putting on the costumes. Deku's so happy. He's like, Todoroki, bro, let's be friends. It's like, oh yeah, see all the senses here. And all my scores stuck in his. Oh, here we go! Right, my boy! Come on, it's like I said, I want to see Shinso being like, I have mastered some kind of martial art and everything. So I can be a hero too! Come on. And yeah, the class is back. So I guess it's kind of like the class against the class fight then. Oh, this is nice. Yeah, Deku up in the front here. Ah! See? Oh yeah, and this is Deku inheriting everyone's powers and everything. Yeah, Deku can unlock the other one's power. Something that clearly was shown in the last season there. That's pretty clear. But look at that. Ah, he's in the eraser, see? Shinso's gonna master. Somehow he's gonna have mastered the. Oh, nice. The Mirio and. Well, didn't tell us much except that the best boy is gonna have the best character is gonna have a lot of screen time. That's kind of what you felt. Yeah, they didn't show us the bad guys, right? Because he's a good guy. No, but yeah, he didn't show us bad guys. But he clearly used. Go back to the opening later in the review part. But he clearly used kind of like the, Eraserheads. I would say, right. But otherwise, the opening, actually immediately, yeah, it was mostly like class fighting again, right there, like the kids against kids, right? Not so much. Not so many bad guys in that opening, right? Not so many, yeah. I will say this thing with the opening, yeah. They get the opening, when they always have the classic, the symbol and it's nice and so on. And I suppose on your question then, I can take that, I suppose. The opening, I think, is, I don't want it to be like in, obviously I love the Black Clover openings. They're all fantastic, especially the songwriting and the visual and so on. But, for example, I assume you've seen Black Clover, right? So, Black Clover opening 9 is a great opening, it's a very good opening, but that spoiled What Even Noel, and I was like, okay, that's too much spoiler, right? And we're opening, let's say opening 6 in Black Clover. That's okay, that thing is a good level of spoiler in a showing an opening, right? Versus not spoiler, right? Because then it's like, here's Melona, here's some new characters. So, for example, in Black Clover 6, you see a new character, but you don't see necessarily any big, revealing plot points, right, or whatever, or new powers for the characters. Where in opening 9, it's like, here's Noel's new power. You're like, okay, thanks. I mean, it's a hype opening for an anime only, but at the same time, you're like, oh, that kind of spoiled a big scene for me, right? So in this opening here, My Academia, I would prefer it if it was after we see this thing and they go into opening. I would prefer if this opening here had a little more, how do I say it, right? A little more new characters, right? Don't have to show me like, this is the new bad guy, this is his powers. But maybe just like showing me a hint of the new bad guy, right? You show me a little bit of just like, this is how he looks. So in that sense, I would say the opening for me, personally, I do prefer it if it's mine. Yeah, I like the openings, showing openings, but they are minorly, yeah, like somewhat, but like minor spoilery, yeah, like to some extent, right? But of course, I don't want an opening to like, maybe the worst example ever is probably the One Piece opening showing Kaido's powers. That's probably the worst example, I think, of any showing an opening ever. It's like, here's Kaido, his powers! And you're like, holy shit, man, yeah. that is One Piece opening, that's the worst one ever. When he just like, shows you in the face. But of course, for most people that like watch One Piece, they read the manga way before, so. But still, it's like, yeah, that was nice. Otherwise, the opening reminds me a lot, right, of the earlier openings, where they kind of have like, oh, we're gonna stretch, we're gonna exercise, right, we're gonna like, get a groove on, then we're gonna go and fight and so on. So that's mostly half the opening it's a lot of like, you see all the classmates and they kind of warming up for a fight or for kind of some kind of training or something, right? And yeah, I will say that I would rather have them do something, right, in that sense. That being said, though, I think some shonen openings, they kind of have the character fighting the screen, right? That's even worse, though, when they kind of attacking and they kind of punching into the screen. That's like that's like an FT opening, where they kind of like throwing an ice at you at the viewer, so they're fighting someone, but you don't know what they're fighting. Yeah, that's pretty pointless, though. But of course, my big part of the opening, though, is of course the best boy is back, right? So that's my big point. Yeah, absolutely. And for me, the best part of the whole episode, easily, right? So I mean, I had him here, right? We have Shinso's back, and if you ever seen my old reaction, kind of when I started my channel, I had like 10 subscribers, right? Started my academia basically, right? And this is one of my favorite backstory. If the whole anime, it's Shinso's backstory, right? And I was crying, and I was like, "Oh, Shinso, you should be a hero!" He's been my favorite male character then. Since then, right? Mirko, of course, is best waifu, best girl ever. But yeah, I was getting goosebumps seeing this part in the opening. This I think is the best part of the opening, right? He has it's a lot of screen time dedicated to Shinso, and used to kind of iterate it again, right? I think his backstory is so good because he has this, to me, he has the mind control power, right? The evil, typical villain power, right? And everyone's always bullying him, right? And he was like, "Oh, you're a bad boy, and you're gonna be when you grow up, you're gonna be a bad person and so on, right?" And so he's always bullied for that, and so on. And then he was like, "No, but I wanna be a hero. I wanna be a hero too, right?" So that was always very, I really love his backstory. I think he has the best backstory in the whole anime. I genuinely do. That's like it's an interesting backstory, and. Then he fought Deku, and Deku basically has the plot armor, right, to defeat him. Yeah, because he had like a sadder life than Deku, right? He had a power, instead of having no power, he had a power that everyone hated, right? So it was like even worse than Deku, and Deku has the freaking power of plot armor and defeats him, right? And I was all sad that he managed to defeat his in the tournament arc. So for the opening, for seeing him, and then of course there's a lot of other scenes with Shinso, right? There's a lot of other scenes with Shinso, and seeing the promo art, I was hoping he was going to have a lot of screen time, right? He kind of has that Eraserhead powers. But yeah, I'm really hyped to see this thing here. Like, he seems to be kind of the main... he's almost kind of the main bad guy, because he seems to be fighting him, though, in the opening. But yeah, I'm really excited to see that he's going to... I mean, given the opening, right? This is the only spoiler opening he has, right? More or less. But Shinso's going to be a lot... He seems to be a very centric character in the season, right? And I really liked it, of course, which it's not about. But what I say, right? He's again, though. I used to love the whole concept that he couldn't defeat the robots, right? Because his mind power is the one, right? It's a stupid test, right? Said by Eraserhead, right? By Sensei, and then we see him having this scarf, and of course, again, I've seen the promo art, so I'm thinking that he's gonna have somehow. It feels like Eraserhead has trained him to learn his, to get this item and, fight like him, right? So I find it really interesting. That's really interesting. I think it's a scene in the opening. It's a brief scene in the opening, right? When he kind of summons. It's like a Eraserhead. Let's see if I can find it. It's a very quick scene in the opening. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Exactly. So he kind of used it, like Sensei, right? So he seems to kind of have mastered, but I guess I think that's gonna be the storyline, right? I think that's gonna be the storyline. Just given how he looks to, right? Like Sensei has trained him in secret, right? Sensei's like, I just feel like as Sensei commented, of course, back in this backstory and the internal and so on, right, that it was unfair for him having his powers, and he shouldn't be in that class. He should be in an A or B. He should be in a hero class, right? He wants to be a hero. He wants to be a fighter, but because of his powers, and he couldn't beat the robots, right? So on. Sensei said it, right? And I feel now then. I hope at least, but it is, come on. Again, I'm only here, but given the opening, I really think that Sensei, of course, has trained him in secret, right? Sensei's like, I feel sorry for this kid, he has potential, and he's probably been training him, after school or whatever, right? And taught him his weapon and so on, right? So he's gonna come back and be able to fight, right? With this, just like he can, in a similar way, probably. So that's badass. That's clearly, I feel, the opening's about, right? In my opinion, that is mostly what the opening focused on, right? It's showing off that he's gonna be a new, improved fighter character and so on. I mean, otherwise the opening has, otherwise the opening is kinda, as I mentioned, it's quite the default, right? The other big thing in this opening is the Deku powers, right? As we saw last season, the Deku is somewhat gonna, like, I guess, getting everyone's other powers. It's a quick scene of that, or what is it? Here we go, yeah. So I mean, that otherwise, that I guess is the main thing in the opening, right? We already kind of knew that, but yeah, like the opening is kind of pointing at the game that Deku is somehow gonna, inherent everyone else's powers, right, and something like that. Right? So that's an opening too. They don't really show any bad guys, really, right? I said Hawk, I guess. And then given them these last minute though of the the Derby maybe betrayal scene or whatever, we see Hawks in the schism with Endower. So that's gonna be the focus, I guess, for the next episode. That, of course, I mean, this here probably points to, of course, what happened in the end, right? That he betrays him, or there's something that he's like pretending to be a bad. I mean, maybe it's, I don't know yet, right? But maybe he's pretending to be a bad guy. Maybe he's gonna join the bad guys. So this classic, opening schism, right? They kind of cut into two characters and some kind of, falling out, so kind of betrayal, right? So yeah, that opening kind of shows you that. And it's on the last minutes there. And then the cute there with, Senpai. Anyway, the ending then. Can't say much about the ending, honestly, right? The ending was... I mean, the ending usually alright. Peggy's great. I like the she scene. The ending is kind of how they usually are in the Academia. Everyone's just having fun. They're going buying food. They're going to have like a birthday party. It's just cute. It's like they all hang out, right? Not much to say about the ending. not really. The ending is like, oh yeah, everyone is having fun and they're all friends and they're all in the same group, I guess, on like Facebook or whatever, right? And they're like, yeah, let's have a great birthday party and there's a car that's early flying away and so on. So yeah, the ending, not too much to say about that, right?